TWM podcast.
Hello to one, hello to all. Welcome to the first ever episode of Raw Talk. This is a historic occasion, one to write down in your journals, to remember exactly where you were when you stumbled across this one-of-a-kind podcast. Raw Talk is a TWM wrestling podcast, and we are brought to you by Squared Circle Box. Use the code TWM News for 10% off of your first order at squaredcirclebox.com. I am your host, and it's all my fault. I'm Dan Lloyd. Joining me is somebody putting the cold in cuckold. It's Peter Barnes.
Hello.
And last but not least, putting the infidel in infidelity, it's Joseph Kingsley.
Salam alaikum.
Right, so this was an interesting episode of Raw.
That's to say the least. What would you say the top story was, boss man?
So, I mean, there's a top story, but to start it off, I feel like we need to start off at the very beginning with Brock Lesnar interrupting Rey Mysterio's little promo about how tonight's title match was for his son Dominic, who was sitting in the first row before Lesnar came out and absolutely destroyed the pair of them, taking off his mask in the ambulance and just screaming, "It's all my fault."
Oh.
It was beautiful in its way, because like when I'm really tired, I get really dumb, and I saw Chris Brooks's tweet before I actually watched Raw, and it's like, oh, Brock Lesnar just beat up Walter. Well done.
Yeah, I was going to say we know exactly how Walter versus Brock Lesnar would go now.
Yeah.
So
I just saw that and I was like, they didn't have him debut and then get absolutely jobbed out to Brock, did they? Mate.
Yeah, it was a really. I wasn't expecting to see Brock on the opening episode of Raw. Obviously, he'd been advertised for SmackDown on Friday night.
Oh, he was advertised for Raw as well.
Was he? Oh, I didn't see it. But surely this is somehow going to cost Brock on Friday now. Like, that's how Kingston keeps the title, right?
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Really?
Yeah.
It's very wishful thinking. Like, the way I see it going is somehow Brock gets both titles.
Oh, really?
It's just the way I see it going. I hope it doesn't, but such is life.
So they're just going to have the wild card exclusively for Brock Lesnar. He's just a wild card on both shows. And
Wild card!
Yep.
I can't see that happening myself, but for me, I'm thinking Mysterio shows up on Friday, and literally all he has to do is interfere for the match to be thrown out as a no contest.
Yeah.
Or WWE go, oh, well, for his actions of beating up a fan, he's now cancelled. Let's have another change to our main event. Let's put Rusev in the main event of this one as well.
No, you know who's going to be there.
Well, yeah, we don't know who's going to be. We don't know who's going to be on SmackDown yet, but
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
have the Brahma Bull himself, have The Rock do it.
Oh my God! To be honest,
yeah, because he's got previous history with Lana, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he does. I forgot about that. This all started a chain reaction, which led to Rusev facing Rollins for the Universal Championship in the main event. And what happened at the end of the night, which I guess is the real talking point that everybody focused on from this episode, and that was Bobby Lashley returned. He returned. Nobody expected it. That was it. That was the talking point, right?
Yes, that is the huge talking point from that.
Right, so let me ask you guys, what is going on with Raw, and why is everybody turning into cuckolds?
Oh yeah, I'm not sure, man. I think that Paul Heyman has issues in it.
I was gonna say, what does this say about Paul Heyman? Because first Mike Kanellis, now Rusev. All I can see next is bloody Tyson Kidd turning up in some fashion and Natalia getting off with Montez Ford.
Natalia to be fair, out of the Street Profits, it's
Angelo Dawkins.
It's Angelo Dawkins who's the horny one. Montez Ford keeps telling him to like calm down because Montez Ford goes home to Bianca Belair.
All right, now this is the hard-hitting question that I'm sure has crossed everybody's mind. How did Hulk Hogan feel being in the building while this segment between Lana...
Yes, this is why I maintain... Look, I'm in a group chat. I ran a campaign to try and get the title of this podcast changed forever to the Cuck Chronicles because there are layers and layers and layers of this going on. John Morrison has just rejoined the WWE. We could add more layers to this.
Oh, God. Are you going to bring back Batista?
Yeah.
Batista, Melina, and John Morrison.
Oh God. Oh, there's just no need, is there? In all seriousness, it's an interesting direction. That second kiss was super awkward.
Yeah. So
for how much they enjoyed it.
Yeah. But I remember a famous scene in Friends where Joey was like, "Oh, if they've got chemistry on stage, then you don't need to worry about anything." So I guess Rusev doesn't need to worry about anything, right?
Yeah, not one thing should he worry about. There was nothing concerning to see.
Like, I'm two things. Number one, I'm waiting. Kevin Sullivan, who has said, I did one angle of my wife with another white man, and now I don't have a wife anymore.
No, we're cancelling this.
That's all he said. That's literally all he said.
Okay, we're not mentioning any names.
You're not mentioning any other names. Kevin Sullivan once said that to someone else when they were considering doing a similar angle. Number two, I can't wait for it to come out that the second kiss wasn't scripted.
Well, this is the thing. So, like, I don't know. We're all in relationships at the moment, and I really don't know how I would feel if I was standing there. My other half was just Bobby Lashley. Like it was a full minute of making out.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Did they come out a bit too early? Did they have to fill time? Is that why Lashley froze like a statue for at least a minute waiting for the music?
just waving, going,
shit, he's gone too early. And someone's just in his ear like, keep kissing.
Yeah. It's just
my favorite thing about this is the afterthought is the Fiend attack Seth Rollins again, but no one cares because this is the Chronicles now.
Yeah, literally. I don't think I saw anybody on Twitter mention that Seth was once again screaming while Bray had him in the mandible claw, which is at least a valid reason for screaming rather than just looking at something. But I am hyped for Rollins versus The Fiend inside Hell in a Cell. I think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic match.
I do as well. I think they've got something really visceral planned.
Yeah. I personally would love to see the entire Hell in a Cell just in that lighting where the Fiend is in the ring.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, but it'd be a really terrible live event because people won't be able to see.
True. Maybe you just have like extra lights.
It'd be the worst. It'd be the worst cage match in terms of visibility since the Punjabi prison.
The thing is, someone on commentary or during the show mentioned like if they're in Hell in a Cell, no one can get in, no one can get out. I think actually no, that's about the women's match, but still, like,
it's still in Hell in a Cell. But yeah, it was. That sounds like a Lawlerism. I've got a big issue with Lawler, by the way.
Who hasn't?
No, but like in this entire segment, the entire main event, I think it's nice that I think what they were trying to do is, because he's had a previous experience with the Fiend, he's ultra sensitive to it. But because he's Lawler and he's old and he's senile and he's anyway.
So speaking of old and senile, we had Miz TV with,
oh my God,
with the guests of Flair and Hogan. And am I missing something? But when Flair entered, his Tron said 17-time champion.
Yes, it did. Oh, it did. It did say 17-time champion.
Where is that extra time? Is he a one-time 24/7 champion that we just don't know about?
Possibly, but the 24/7 championship wouldn't count in this lineage of championships. Actually, he claims he's close to a 24-time champion, but WWE only acknowledged 60.
Yeah. It was really surprising to me, and I don't know about you, Peter, but it was really surprising to me how loud the pops were for Hogan in Phoenix last night.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
found
shock
that
me.
jarring.
Doesn't shock me at all. Where was it in America that had a really racist American football team? There wasn't in Phoenix.
I have no idea. I don't know too much about the American football stuff myself, but
Like, no, there was a sports team. Might not be American. There was a sports team, a really racist team name. I feel like it might it was somewhere. I don't know why my gut is saying Phoenix, but it just is. Sorry if it's not.
okay.
But nothing will shock me anymore about nostalgia. If Hulk Hogan just has black people in his team, I'm just going to be super upset. If he has just the New Day in his team, I'm going to stop watching.
Well, so this was the thing. Last week, there was a...
If he has Bobby Lashley in his team, comedy gold.
Last week, there was a picture that circulated on Twitter that was a 8-man tag match between... It was Brock Lesnar and the New Day versus Reigns, Rollins, Bray Wyatt, and somebody else.
Oh, that wasn't a tag match. That was an advert for Crown Jewel 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, was it just an advert?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Because I was confused when I saw that. But, yeah, so... With this segment, was it just me, or did Flair seem really off? Like...
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought he'd been drinking heavily.
Same.
Potentially.
He might have fallen after that.
There was just that one point, and I know they were going to like hype the 10-man tag that they've got going on, but there was one point where he was just like, "I'm the best ever in the ring," and blah blah blah. Stone Cold, Baker, Hogan, you're all the biggest draws money wise, but I'm the best in this ring, and I was just like, it seemed really angry, like somebody in the back had been like, "Oh, Flair, you're nothing compared to these guys."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm saying he might be a Luger, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe this Wednesday we could see a switch over.
Oh, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? Just the idea of Ric Flair on NXT.
But yeah, so Peter, how are you feeling about this elimination? Is it an elimination tag match that happened in Crown Jewel?
They just said it was 5-on-5. I assumed it was Survivor Series style, but probably not. Yeah. I mean, which side do you go for? Do you go for being on the side of known racist or known womanizer?
Well, this is what WWE loves to do to you, you know? It really gives you some moral conflict with your watching.
Yeah, like...
I'm definitely going with womanizer and alcoholic.
The problem is, like, Seth seemed really proud to be on Hogan's team.
Yeah, Oh yeah, Seth Rollins cancelled.
Yeah, this was problematic because honestly,
like Rusev's up and came later in the night. Seth Rollins cancelled. But I just want to say, it's really obvious that Flair's team from here is going to be Randy, Baron, The Revival, and like Andrade maybe for some flavor. Yeah.
Yeah, like, but Andrade can't bring Selena with him.
Yeah, but that's fine. He's got Flair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, no, he can't bring her either.
What? Oh, yeah. Well, he can bring his father-in-law. That's what I meant.
We are brought to you by Squared Circle Box, a monthly professional wrestling subscription box filled with mystery goodies from around the wrestling world. From just £25 a month, you can get t-shirts, signed photos, DVDs, books, trinkets, doohickeys, it's got it all. Sign up before the 21st of each month to get that month's box. Do it now at squaredcirclebox.com and use the code TWMNews for 10% off your first order. That's TWMNews for 10% off at squaredcirclebox.com. Do it now.
So my favourite tweet of the night was, note that Lana's response to her husband joining Team Hogan was to make out with a black man within the hour. You
said that?
Somebody who was replying to Matthew from Botchamania.
Oh, that's class.
It was fantastic.
That's incredible.
We also have the return of Pyro.
For 1 hour. For literally 1 hour. There was no pyro in Ricochet's entrance, which is not pyro. There's no pyro for AJ Styles. Those are just the two that I noticed. Literally was the first hour.
The ones that I noticed did have pyro, or at least Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch has her smoke back, but the ones that have pyro that I noticed were Alexa Bliss, The Miz,
first hour,
and Seth Rollins.
First hour.
All the first hour?
Yep. They literally told the pyro guy, all right, you've earned your money now, go home.
What did everybody make of the announcement team? Because personally, I feel like Lawler's meant to be the heel of the announcing team, but I think they're all really trying to find their roles at the moment.
I'm struggling because I can't differentiate the voices. Like Vic Joseph, I can tell, but then Jerry and Dio Madden, like I can't tell their voices apart. So
how can you not tell Lawler's voice apart from
Dio Madden?
I don't know. It just all sounded the same. Maybe it was the time.
But I'm gonna have to point it out to you that any time somebody said, "Oh my God, the Fiend," that was Lawler. Because that's pretty much all he said the entire show.
He also made a joke about fat bastard. Josh actually tweeted me earlier saying, I got a reference that someone else made earlier. Are you proud? I was like, who was it? It was like Jerry Lawler. And I was like, you're proud of a reference a 60-year-old alleged buns made.
Did anyone else get like super twitchy when there's a women's match on? Knowing that Lawler was on the table. Like,
No, but I for one hated both of the finishes to both women's matches. Like, so Banks versus Bliss. Realistically.
Oh, so Banks kicked Bliss's leg out of her leg.
Yeah. She kicked her leg out of her leg, and that was it. And in both, the commentary team were like, oh, they had her tights, but they didn't. So both of them looked really, really ropey.
Yeah.
Like finishes at least. And both of them were really short as well. It's almost like they're preparing for Crown Jewel.
Like, do you think they'll do an all-woman SmackDown the Friday after Crown Jewel?
I'm hoping, because Crown Jewel is on the Thursday, right?
Yeah. Queen of the Ring on Fox. Why not? Let's run it. Unless
they're going to keep a bunch of people back. I mean, maybe you'll have like a Daniel Bryan versus.
Oh yeah, because he won't go.
Yeah.
Him versus Sammy, surely.
Yeah, maybe him
Well,
versus,
I
versus
think-
Sammy and Kevin in a triple threat match main event.
For 3 hours.
And after Banks versus Bliss, Becky Lynch, who'd been sitting at commentary, she came down to the ring and her and Sasha brawled. And Sasha hightailed it out of the ring for the usual spot of Becky going, well, you can run now, but on Sunday you'll have nowhere to go. Like, can we cancel gimmick pay-per-views? I hate them.
So who's going to eat who off the top of the cage?
Nobody's yeeting anybody off the top of this cage, I don't feel. I feel like they're still a bit too PG. Like, they're going a bit more raunchy with their storylines, but I don't feel like anybody's going to go.
Yeah, fair enough.
What about you, Peter? Do you think anyone will?
I think Sasha, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
She's more likely to jump or get pushed.
Okay.
Yeah, Sasha's an absolute mad woman.
But did either of you find it like Becky on commentary was a bit awkward?
It wasn't even awkward. It was just like she was giving it like she was out on a Friday night and somebody had looked at her boyfriend or something, because she was just standing on the table going, "What, you want some?"
Yeah, like leading into the ad break though, before she got on the table, like there's a bit where she repeated herself about 4 times, being like, and you know what, I was like, you're trying to say something, but you're kind of stuck, and maybe like the advert didn't come quite soon enough.
Yeah. After this, we had the Raw Tag Team Titles match, and Joseph, I really enjoyed this. It started off as a really basic tag team match, but the crowd were really behind Heavy Machinery. Do you reckon there'll be maybe future champs in the making?
They are 100% future champs in the making, because Otis Dozovich is an absolute star. What I will say about this match, though, is it was completely pointless, because if you look at another tag match a bit further down the card, like why did what's their faces? The Viking Raiders, I nearly called them by their old name. The Viking Raiders have to beat the OC again.
Yeah, I was thinking this.
Great match.
Yeah.
Great match.
Yeah,
watch those 4 wrestle for a very, very long time. But
yeah, they have lots of commentary.
Yeah.
Chemistry, sorry.
Yeah, but look, just why? Why again?
Yeah. The OC have gone from 2 months ago being tag team champions to now just being fodder once again. They're so talented, and I really don't get how this can be even considered a rivalry if one team just keeps winning.
Well, do you remember when the people formerly part of the Bullet Club in Gallows and Anderson debuted after Mania? And like how hyped everyone was, and like, oh my god, they could get Bullet Club kind of back together with Finn or AJ.
Yeah.
And I was so behind it, and now it's like, I didn't really feel a flicker of emotion watching them. I was just like, oh, it's a good match, but it's just blokes in a ring. Like,
yeah.
Cool.
Like, I kind of get your point, but I do think that they are building something with the OC, and that's why Styles kept the title against Alexander.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Finn is probably due back maybe around draft time.
Yeah, they might hold him back.
Maybe if they all end up on the same brand, maybe that's something that they'll go with.
Whether he's feeding with them or he's joining them, I just want to see them do something interesting with Finn Balor.
True. It's long overdue after he had his, 1-day reign as Universal Champ, and then nothing. Yeah, so going back to Styles versus Alexander. really, really great back and forth match. I think, as we'd already seen tag team titles match, and we knew how that one ended, and everybody kind of knew the Universal Championship wasn't changing hands. I really would have liked there to be a title change on, as it's the season premiere. What do you think?
I was feeling the same. I was like, that surely one of them's changing, no matter which.
Yeah, because they had every single men's title on the line.
Yeah.
What I will say is, if there was going to be any, they should have given really credible opponents to, well, what do I call them in my head? The Retro Heels Express.
No, but that's the thing. It's how can you take the titles off of Ziggler and Rude, because they've just taken the titles off of somebody who just took the titles off of somebody else, and it just perpetuates this thing that the tag division doesn't matter.
But it doesn't. Not in this company. Not on this brand.
Okay, Mr. AEW.
Never looked up, never ever said that.
We also had Ricochet defeating Cesaro after Cesaro mouthed off about wanting to beat up Dominic as well. Peter, what did you make of this match?
The match itself was really good. It was a nice little homage to Ray with the finish. I did find it weird, like, in the setup, when they were being like, oh, let's prove who's the bigger man. You're literally stood next to each other, like, Cesaro's taller, done. Next match. Like, why was there a match?
And here we have an inner view of what Peter Barnes would look like as a wrestling promoter. Oh, well, Braun Strowman, you win every match ever. Cesaro, though, I looked into it, and the last time he won on a weekly TV show was all the way back on July the 8th over No Way Jose. I know he beat Dragunov at TakeOver Cardiff, but Joe, what does Cesaro have to do to get a push in the WWE?
Give Cesaro Volta, because he asked for him anyway.
Do you think Cesaro is going to be somebody who goes back to NXT as well, like Tyler Breeze?
I reckon Cesaro wants to be a coach now. That's honestly what I think. I think I'm not sure. I just get the impression that he's kind of going through the motions. He's really happy to, like, he can put on. He's one of those people who can put on a 3-star match or a boob, you know. And I think he's horrific. I think, and he might be quite happy with his role. I'm not sure if he. Like, I know before he wasn't, but I think now he's just kind of accepted it.
Yeah.
I think it'd work quite nicely for him because Cassius Ohno's kind of in a similar role, so they could reunite their tag team together just as coaches.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
And like, they can just see he's good enough that he can put people over, and he will always get a good match out of anyone.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's the thing. Even when he appeared on the screen to speak to Charlie, like, he still gets cheers, even though he's essentially a jobber now. Yeah, the crowd is still behind him.
They've done it in such a way that I didn't actually notice he hasn't won since July.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been under the radar. Like, no one's gone, oh my god, he's on a losing streak. He hasn't won a match in ages. And because he picks up the odd match here or there, like at TakeOver Cardiff, people don't immediately go, oh my god, he's losing everything. Because, you can point out some big matches that he has won. So it's kind of, he puts enough talent over without looking like he's doing so. Yeah, I mean, because I'm looking at his record right now. He's got a couple of wins on main event. He's got the winner TakeOver Cardiff against Ilya Dragunov, and a few more wins on main event. But then, apart from that, he beat Ricochet back in May. He beat Cedric Alexander in April. And then you're going back to January before he won as well. Jeez. So he goes on really dry spells. But I don't know. I would love to see Cesaro just have that one run, even if it's just as like a month,
as WWE champ.
Yeah, could work. Also, like, I really listened to the commentary this week. I don't know why, but
That's good.
I do.
yeah, there's one thing that Jerry Lawler said, which A, wasn't problematic, but B, still left me with questions. And it was that he said, like, oh, when I first saw Ricochet, it looked like he had a long way to go. And assuming that he only watches WWE, when the hell did he see him? Because his very first move in WWE was a double springboard shooting star press. Wow, he's done that. Yeah, he's definitely not talented. He's got a long way to be a star.
Wasn't that in NXT, the ladder match?
Yes, exactly.
The ladder match. NXT, when commentators talk about WWE, they don't count NXT anymore.
Yeah, not at all.
Maybe.
Yeah, I definitely.
So he probably would have. Sorry, Dan. After you, Dan.
Yeah, I can't really see Lawler watching much NXT. I'm pretty sure he's just here for. Actually, I don't even know what my point was going to be. Fuck that.
But like, I'm sure he watches Impact though. Watches the women's division and wonder what could have been.
With Paul Heyman running Raw now, and with all of these storylines going on, I'm really worried about how Lawler is going to be. You have to think that there's somebody just in his ear going, Jerry, no!
And Vince next to that person going, Jerry, yes.
And that is it. It's a wrap on the first ever episode of Raw Talk. You can follow us at TWM Wrestle on Twitter, Facebook.com/TWM Wrestle, Instagram at TWM Wrestle. You can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Acast, Podbean, and all the other places for your audio needs. Joseph, where can they follow you on the social medias?
At Sock Council.
Okay. I don't even want to know what that is, but I'll look it up later. Peter, where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at PBRights92.
Okay, and you can follow me at DRL_1990 as well. That has been the first episode of Raw Talk. On TWM right now, we do have 5 underrated Hell in a Cell matches by George Gill. We've got Why I'm Excited for AEW Dynamite by Daniel McIver. Why Candice LeRae should be the next NXT Women's Champion by Paige Braley. And 5 potential feuds for a returning John Morrison by the one and only Peter Barnes. Now, Peter, you have some interesting research from your article, I understand.
Yeah, basically, Johnny Impact / Mundo / Johnny Religion has about 1,000,001 nicknames, and him.
Tell us all of them.
The cream in your coffee. Your face.
No, wrong. Just bringing it up. It's John Hennigan, Johnny Impact, John Morrison, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Nitro, Johnny Blaze, Johnny Spade, Johnny Superstar, Nitro, Johnny Onyx, Johnny Religion, and Johnny Blackcraft.
Johnny Blackcraft.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, and I heard he's got another one as well.
Go on.
Eric Rowan. See you guys next week.
See you guys next week. Take care.